Now it is official. After months of hinting that he would get in, Fred Thompson jumped squarely into the presidential race. The big announcement came last night on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about.
All right.
I'm running for president of the United States.
All right, there you have it.
Thompson's first order of business, beating out 8 other contenders for the GOP nomination. Thompson is hailed by some conservatives who are unhappy with those 8 other choices as a godsend. But what do we really know about this actor turned politician? Here's AFR correspondent Jam Sardar with a closer look at the man behind the campaign for Thompson in 08.
He ran the CIA in the movie No Way Out.
What's all this top secret business I've been hearing about over at the Pentagon?
Served as a rear admiral in the Hunt for Red October.
Ones that don't defect are going to go back and say we got the vote.
And protected the president as White House chief of staff in the line of fire.
You have no reason to believe that this guy is any more dangerous than thousands of other people who make idle threats.
Now Fred Thompson has his sights set on the Oval Office all to himself, but this time it's for real.
Hey, good to see you.
And experts say he's got a serious shot, not just because his real-life resume includes a stint as a senator, it's also because he appeals to the conservatives who aren't thrilled about the grand old party's so-called top-tier candidates, the liberal, thrice-married Rudy Giuliani, the flip-flopping Mormon Mitt Romney, and the moderate has-been John McCain.
He's the kind of guy that a lot of the conservatives are pining after at this point, because they say, here's a guy who can win, and here's a guy who, if he wins, will stick to the principles that we've been trying to champion all along.
This office has tried a couple of homicides without a body, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
It's not just the principles that make him an attractive candidate. Thompson's also got presence. His strong personality as the district attorney on Law and Order leads some to compare him to another Republican actor who won the White House.
God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
University of Pennsylvania professor Don Kettle has seen Thompson in action, up close and personal, and he says Thompson is not acting.
I was on Capitol Hill testifying one time and watched him just go into somebody, and his eyeballs were something that you just didn't want to mess with. He just really has a kind of presence and a power that conveys a sense of leadership.
Of course, this is no coronation. While he may have principles and personality, Thompson also has potential problems. Critics say his resume won't stand up to scrutiny.
The worry that some people have is that there's not enough beef there. There are criticisms about Thompson's stand in the Senate, where people look back on his accomplishments, and they say sometimes have a hard time naming many of them. That is, some people suggest he's a policy lightweight.
And while his personality and politics might help him win the GOP nomination, can the conservative also appeal to everyone else next November? Could he beat Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, or John Edwards? Experts say his fame and fortune make him a fighter.
Part of what we're going to be electing a president to do is somebody we have confidence in crafting a way through these difficult foreign policy dilemmas, and somebody who's tough and resolute is something that is going to appeal very broadly in this election, I suspect.
Jam Sardar's here. Would it be fair to call him a breath of fresh air?
It would be in many senses. He'll be new to the whole campaign. He'll be new on the ground in Iowa and New Hampshire. He'll be new to the debates. I know at one of the debates last night, a lot of people wished he would have been there taking some of the same questions that the current field of GOP candidates was.
He's a wealthy man. He hasn't put his money into this yet, and we don't know if he will. But he's a little bit behind on fundraising. What does he have to do to get it turned around?
Well, he's really going to have to get going. Worse than the money, which I assume will come, is he's way behind when it comes to getting the endorsements, getting the people on the ground in those important first states like Iowa and New Hampshire. So he's got a lot of catching up to do. He's got the name recognition. He's got a fair amount of money. He's got those things going for him, but he still has a lot of work to do if he wants to be the next president of the United States.
He exposes himself to a lot of scrutiny because now when he had one foot in the pool. Now he's taking the plunge. He's in there. So the cameras are going to be around him 24 hours a day, which is not easy on him and on his lifestyle and on his family.
It was easy for him to look on from on high and say, I'm thinking about running, I may do it, I'm not sure. Nobody during the last few weeks and months have had the opportunity to question him. Well, what are you going to do about Iraq? Do you have a health care plan? What are you going to do to balance the budget? He hasn't answered these questions, and now when he takes part in the debate, he's going to have to mix it up with some of those 8 other candidates, and this the very clean, reputation he has might get a little muddy.
Right, and part of what comes with the territory is you got to be on all the time because the cameras are on all the time. And let's face it, when you've been out campaigning all night long, you didn't get much sleep. Some people are a little bit grumpy in the morning. You can't have those days, can you?
Absolutely, absolutely. But he does have the kind of bearing that a lot of people think will be able to get him through that. Now it's just a question of some of the serious substantive policy issues and the organizational issues that we talked about too. He's got a lot of battles yet to fight, including these 8 other Republicans if he wants to get the nomination.
All right, getting interesting. Thanks so much, Jam. Joining us now with an inside look at the newest presidential contender, Fred Thompson, is our own Washington insider, April Ryan. April, this really shouldn't catch any political watchers off guard. We knew it was coming, but it's out there now. So what's the vibe in Washington?
Well, the vibe in Washington is really interesting. As you said, no one is really surprised by this, but I emailed Ari Fleischer, this president's first presidential press secretary, and I want to read you what he emailed back to me. This is Ari Fleischer speaking of Fred Thompson. He said, "He has huge potential, and a lot of Republicans are still searching for a candidate." He also said, "Our field remains wide open, so he has a big opportunity, and he exudes Reagan-like manners," meaning he's an actor, he's celebrity, he's gregarious, he's someone that people would go to. But he also said, now this is Ari Fleischer, my question, is he on top of policy? Does he have command of the issues, particularly on foreign policy? And he says, I think he has about a week to show he's for real. If he can back it up, the sky's the limit for him. If he doesn't show depth and substance in the next few days, he'll sink fast.
Okay, well, the road to the presidency, at least in recent years, and by that I mean, geez, I guess the last 40 years, has been through a governorship. It's very hard to be elected president when you've been a senator because there's a voting record that everybody can dig into. Now, he's been out of the loop as far as being a senator for a while, 4 years, I believe. Is that enough time away from that to make people forget?
Well, people can't forget him because one of my friends I emailed, I said, what do you think about a Republican person who's in the loop in Washington? I said, what do you think about Fred Thompson? She said, well, he was the best DA on Law and Order. But the issue is the fact that this is someone who has already propelled to the #2 status in the polls on the Republican side under Rudy Giuliani. He's making major waves. Many Republicans are saying, look, this was a lackluster group of candidates right now. And even the debate last night, they started getting fired up when they knew Fred Thompson was getting in. Fred Thompson is saying he wants to come and change the culture of Washington. He wants to fix the economy, and he also wants to deal with the issue of national security. And we have to see what he's going to do.
All right. Well, the star power is certainly there to an extent. Ronald Reagan used that before, but really at best, he was a B-movie actor. How do the Democrats maybe say, look, you know, this is just another celebrity wannabe trying to get in the White House?
It's not just about celebrity being a celebrity wannabe. Bill Clinton is a celebrity, and his wife is riding in on the coattails of that celebrity status. Some of that is part of that, you know, for Mrs. Clinton. She is riding in on her husband's celebrity, but she also has something to bring to the table. But Fred Thompson brought something to the table in the Senate, but he also has the issue of the fact that he is a star. And you can't help but notice, people are looking at television. People are looking at looks as well, and that's a major thing. But, you know, Kevin, something we haven't talked about, there are some negatives about Fred Thompson that people have talked about in the last couple of weeks. One, that many of the tabloids have dealt with, and many of the tabloid news organizations have said that he has a trophy wife. A lot of people don't like that.
Right, a younger wife. He went through a divorce, which doesn't sit well with the conservatives all that way.
Right, and then on top of that, you have Fred Thompson's hand somewhat in the Scooter Libby scandal. He was helping out the legal defense, helping to bring up money, raise money for Scooter Libby's legal defense fund. And that is a major negative for him.
Yeah, a little dirt on the hands. Hey, we got to talk about Senator Larry Craig from Idaho. Apparently now he doesn't want to get back in office, or he's given up. How much of that is his choice or pressure behind the scenes?
We'll see what happens. Well, let's wait till everything unfolds, because 1 minute is one way, the other minute's another. Let's just wait and see what happens closer to the time when the Senate Ethics Committee really gets involved and see what he says. Let's see if he's cleared or if he's found guilty, what have you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, April, good seeing you. That's April Ryan, our Washington insider.